guys, if you've come looking for some fresh art inspiration, then you are in the right place, because this week I'm sharing the start to finish process for this artwork with tips and tricks on how you can use watercolors in your next mixed media project. I thought it'd be fun to use some of the stencils and stamps that I designed for Paper Artsy in this project, although actually I've cheated a little bit, and you'll see how later, although the very keen-eyed amongst you may have already spotted how. I've used various other art bits and bobs, and you can find a full list in the description below. Don't worry, I will show you how I've used each of them. Now if you're one of my returning subscribers, then hey, big hello, great to see you back, and I've got a shout out for one of you at the end of the video, but you'll just have to wait to see who. And for all my new watchers, hello to you too! Big welcome, come and say hi, and don't forget to subscribe too for your weekly art and craft tips, techniques and inspiration. This week I'm working on a heavyweight mixed media paper that I've cut down to a square from a larger size. And for my first layer, I'm just tearing out some strips from some newspaper and gluing them in place with some regular gel. There's no particular great design plan for where I'm placing the paper, I just want to get them down for a bit of texture. So I let that gel layer dry completely, and it didn't actually take that long because I'd spread it quite thinly with the plastic card. But my next layer is just going to be a gesso layer. So I'm spreading it out over the surface quite thinly again, but this time with a brush, and I've put slightly too much on, so I'm just going to wipe off my excess onto one of my junk journals. I hate wasting things, so I just put it on another page and I can do something with that page next time. But for this page, I'm just going to add some more texture by scribbling into the gesso with the other end of the brush, and then just let that gesso layer completely dry, because now we're going to add the main texture for the whole piece using a stencil and some glass bead gel medium. I find there's a little bit of a trick to adding glass bead gel medium to stencils, and that is to try not to wipe off as much as you put on. The beads have a tendency to be easily wiped off. So you'll find you'll fill the space, you'll put your palette knife back over that space and you'll rub it all off. So what I do is I tend to be generous with the amount of gel that I put on, and I work from the middle of the stencil outwards, and then I just keep an eye on the areas and make sure that I refill any that I've accidentally removed the beads from. And when I've finished and I've removed the stencil, I tend to scrape off the excess beads onto another page somewhere else, say my junk journal, and then I'll clean that stencil with a damp cloth just to make sure that I've got all the beads off. Time to add colour, and today I'm going to use the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus Fine Art watercolours, and these are a liquid watercolour. I've used them before. If you've watched some of my other videos then you'll have seen them. I'm kind of enjoying these at the moment because they're just super easy to use, and you can use them in all sorts of different techniques. But if you don't have them, don't worry, because you can also use inks for this, or the other format of watercolours, like the tubes or the pans, just as long as you make them up into a nice liquid. Because the way I'm going to add the watercolours to this week's project is to just dribble it over the top of the glass beads and spritz it with water, and then just let the watercolour itself spread out over that flower pattern. It's kind of fun to watch, and I love the way that when you spritz the watercolour you get a little bit of splashes in other parts of the picture, which is another great texture. Now in a video it looks as if I'm using quite a lot of the watercolour, but I'm actually not. These are really pigmented, so you only need a very small amount, and what you're seeing here is mostly actually just bubbles, where I shook up the watercolours to make sure that the pigment was nicely mixed throughout the whole liquid. So a bit of a confession here, I did get a little bit overexcited and added my purple just a little bit too early. I should have let some of the water dry off so that the purple wouldn't have run into the yellow quite as easily. Because as you see, I've been keeping very much the same colours, knowing that these colours will mix nicely together and won't go to brown. However, when you add the purple and yellow, they'll go to brown quite easily. So you want to keep them separated. So the trick is, don't add it too early, like I did. But I'll show you a fix for this if you happen to be a bit too impatient like me and couldn't wait and had to add your purple. A lot of working with watercolours is about controlling the water. So if you do find that you've got too much water, then take some of it off. And I'm just using a piece of kitchen towel for this. And once I've got most of the purple away from the areas I didn't want it, then I will just let this piece dry and then just fix up any areas that I need to. And I'm doing that by lifting off the colour from the areas I'm not that happy about with a wet brush. And then going back over that area with another colour, and one that will mix well with both the purple and the yellow. And then I'm just going to finish off the purple as I should have done before in a nice, controlled manner. My final layer of colour, I'm just going to add some glitz with some gold gouache paint. And this is the Holbein Artist Gouache Brilliant Gold. And as I've said before, it's kind of my favourite gold paint at the moment because it's really quite glitzy. And I'm just going to dry brush that on over the surface so it picks up on those glass beads and adds an extra bit of sparkle. And I mentioned at the start of the video that I cheated just slightly, and my cheat is that I'm using some elements that I made for a previous project, and you might have seen this project because it was actually one of my art slice videos from a little while back. And I made these butterflies using a jelly plate and some acrylic paint, and also some more of my stencils that I designed for Paper Artsy, plus this butterfly stamp that was one of the ones I designed for Paper Artsy as well. Anyway, I'll leave you a link in the cards and the description below to that video in case you've missed it. So here's a close-up of the finished project, and you can see all that lovely texture, the colour, the gold, and that butterfly. Hope you enjoyed watching the process and picked up some tips and tricks that you can use in your next mixed media project. So I still have my viewer shout out to come at the end, but in the meantime, please do subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification button so you know when my videos are coming up. Plus let me know if you've got any questions at all. I would love to hear from you, or even if you just want to say hi, leave me a comment below. And any likes and shares of my video are hugely appreciated, so thank you very much. So viewer shout out time. Thank you Diane so much for sharing this with me and for letting me share it with everyone else as well. And you can see the video that inspired Diane here. And if you would like a shout out, then share any projects that you make that have been inspired by my work or my videos with me on social media. And you can find all the links below, or you can also email me, and you'll find my email address on my blog. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.